Welcome back. You're still watching Good Morning Africa Radio on Pan-African Television with me, Justice Apia. Today, I'm sitting in for my brother and my boss, Kwame, Owusu Danso. He will be here later, but I would have to do this for him for today. I've been joined in the studio by the regular panelists for this particular show. I'll be introducing them pretty shortly, but let me take you through the stories to be discussed on the program this morning. The first story to be discussed is India's COVID-19 crisis. It's a wake-up call for Africa, and then we'll narrow it down to Ghana. What's the COVID-19 situation in the country? And then, of course, the jabs people are taking, the COVID-19 vaccine. What's the situation currently? We'll be narrowing down to, Ghana on that particular one. Educationists blast government over non-payment of training teachers' allowance. The story was captured in the Inside newspaper. No need for load shedding, says Energy Minister, as it labels minority statement as false. No need for load shedding, says Energy Minister, as it labels minority statement as false. The Daily Searchlight, captured that story. Kisi Ejaben, surrogate of Ejapa, says Martin Amidu, former special prosecutor for the Republic of Ghana. Yes, he's saying that the nominee for that same office is a surrogate of Ejapa. How true is that? We'll analyze that on this platform this morning. And also, we'll be looking at some deplorable road networks in the country. You recall that President Akufo-Addo and his government promised that 2020 was, a year of road. I don't know where the roads are constructed in this country. And Ghanaians are asking, very, 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 very good questions, very thought-provoking questions. And their questions are begging for answers. Where are the roads? Where are the roads? Almost all roads across the country are in a deplorable state. And that's not especially when the president and his government promised them of roads in 2020. Now we are in 2021. And Ghanaians are saying that they are not seeing anything. They are not seeing anything when it comes to road construction in the country. Join in the conversation by sending your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp/text line displayed on your screen. We'll make a time and read all those out for you. You can as well leave your suggestions, questions, and comments on our social media pages. We'll make a time and also read all those out for you. I've been joined in the studio by Honorable Alhaji A.B.A. Hussaini, Member of Parliament for Sagnaregu constituency, and also Desmond Chumesi. Desmond Chumesi in two. Desmond Chumesi in two.
And two is Alhaji like the in two. So normally, yes, the in two is the same name.
Desmond in two.
That's right.
Desmond in two.
I used to watch this Ghana film series.
Okay.
And there was one man called Into.
Ejantu.
Very humorous. I liked him so much.
Oh, very, very well. Desmond is the parliamentary candidate for PNC in the just ended 2020 elections. Last week I asked him, Desmond, how many votes did you obtain?
He told me. He eclipsed his flag.
Good morning.
Good morning, my
Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'll start with you, Honorable, on the African story. India's COVID-19 crisis is a wake-up call for Africa, of which Ghana is of no exception.
Yeah, Justice. First and foremost, let me say good morning to your good self, to my brother, Comrade Into, for the late Kwame. Your technical staff here as well, who make it possible for this program to go out. The good viewers of Pan-Africa. And of course, more importantly for me, the Brichina people of the Sanaro Constituency. The evergreen Brichina people of the Sanaro Constituency. May Allah Almighty in this blessed month of Ramadan bestow all the blessings and good tidings to the Brichina people of the Sanaro Constituency, the Northern region as a whole, and Ghanaians as a whole. Justice.
Honorable.
The handling of this COVID especially in a number of developing countries. When I come to Ghana, you see where leaves so much to be desired. First and foremost, you are talking about India. The Indian Prime Minister, you know, and justice, leadership is very crucial to the handling of this COVID. In many instances where you see very decisive leadership, where leadership takes the lives of the people seriously and doesn't engage in pranks, they have done a lot of work to get this COVID thing under control. You recall in the US when Donald Trump was president and he used those pranks to dismiss the COVID and said it was just a Chinese virus which will go away in 7 days. You saw under his leadership how the country was overtaken on a daily basis. Americans were dying closer to 4,000 a day, 3,000 something a day. We're dying like fowls. Okay? Because he paid lip service to it. He dismissed it as, like I said, a Chinese flu, and didn't take it serious. But you can see that under President Biden, now with even the steps that were taken, and also the ramping up of the vaccinations. In fact, I hear that by July, the whole entire system will be opened up without even mask. Even today, President Biden said on the 100th day of his 100 days in office, that even in some areas they can even come out in open space without even mask. Okay, so it tells you how far they have come. Narendra Modi, who is the Indian Prime Minister, behaved exactly like Trump. In fact, I believe he's even converts. There are some of Trump's converts. He and Bolsonaro of Brazil. Brazil too, they are dying like fowls in their thousands because they paid lip service. Their leaders paid lip service to the fight against COVID-19. And that's what happened in India. The Indian Prime Minister is complicit in what has happened to the Indian people today. He did not take the pandemic serious, and steps that he should have taken to insulate his people from this mass deaths, the contracting of that disease. He didn't. Indeed, he was responsible for even guarding people at mass rallies where they didn't wear masks. The Indian Prime Minister. Rallies where they were doing local government elections and others, they gathered. And you know the population of India. India is the second most populous country in the world.
Exactly.
They are in huge numbers. And so these were potential spreaders of the disease in India. So if today Indians are dying in their numbers, they should go back and put the responsibilities squarely at the doors of their Prime Minister and the inability of his government to have taken steps to protect them against the pandemic. Justice. Not only those elementary protocols of social distancing, wearing of masks, and more importantly in this day and age, getting the vaccines. I hear that less than 10% of Indians, and you know India has a very strong pharmaceutical industry. India could have produced these vaccines, I can tell you, in no time to satisfy even the needs of their people. Less than 10% of Indians have been vaccinated. Okay? Compare that with some other countries. Today the US has gone very far under President Biden. So justice, I bring the Indians the sad story, and if you see, they say the health system of India is breaking down. In places like Delhi and others, the system is overwhelmed. They are now even making makeshift distance to just get places to admit people and get it. Even basic tools like oxygen, they don't have. Now even other countries have to come to India's aid with oxygen and other basic necessities. Can you imagine production of oxygen that the Indian government could not have even taken steps to ensure that all these basic necessities to facilitate healthcare delivery in this pandemic are taken care of? Today, this is the sad story of India, that you have people dying in their huge numbers, and we are even told that the mortuaries are not only full, but even the crematories or whatever they call it, where they burn, you know, Indians, they cremate their deceased people who die. And they said even that one is overwhelming. Many of the laboratories are full. You know, and opportunity for them to make good those things are there. So it's a sad story to narrate in India today. But justice, bringing it down to our country, even here. Justice, we are sitting on a time bomb. Not too long ago, at the airport, it was revealed that the number of people coming into Ghana, even from tests that were conducted in the airport, had shot to an alarming level. The number of COVID-19 positive cases entering the country, and also even in the country. But we don't see it reflecting in the numbers that we are dealing with. So even number one, there is a view that even we are hiding the number of COVID cases in Ghana here. It's not a true reflection of what is going on. And number two, measures are not even taken to protect Ghanaians. There is people, flights coming from India. They said in one flight alone, over 79 people tested positive. And they have come into the system. Justice, they are all in the system. So no step is being taken by this government to protect the people of this country.
79 people infected people in one flight.
Yes, that was what was said. And those doing the tests at the distance have released figures showing an escalation, a huge spike in the number of people coming into the country who have tested positive for COVID-19. And so far, what step has the government taken? In a serious country where the government cherishes the life of the people, justice, when they determine that a particular country is the pandemic is worse than any, they ban flights from that area. Ally. They will say that no flights, like today we know from India.
Yeah.
We have banned any flight coming in from India, from landing at the Kotoka International Airport. So that is one of the measures taken to protect your people. A government that cherishes the lives of its people. This government that doesn't care about Ghanaians. So nothing has happened. Justice is open. Now today, Justice, do you hear of any serious attempt to do any serious testing in this country? What is the regime of testing that we have to determine our status of COVID in this country? It's not there. How for contact tracing, forget. Justice, people who even accompany people and they test them and they are positive, they allow them to even go home. They don't even take their details. So what about contact tracing? Because earlier attempts at getting contact tracers and others when they did their work, they didn't pay them up to now. The government owes justice. We owe now, we are even owing contact tracers. What kind of country is it? Even contact tracers, you are owing them money. You can't pay them. So this is the status that we have. And worst of all, justice, in spite of, I remember we were on recess in the last parliament when we were recalled to come and approve billions of Ghana cedis for this government to fight COVID-19. Justice, billions of Ghana cedis, parliament approved. And beyond that, they also went for 1 billion IMF loan to fight COVID. Further billions of Ghana cedis. Justice, this government hasn't purchased one vaccine. One vaccine. The vaccine that has come so far is the free vaccine that we have from the COVAX. And you know the COVAX.
Yeah.
The United Nations had scheduled to give a number of the poorest countries in the world. This was the label, justice. Poorest countries in the world. And among the poorest countries in the world who were supposed to benefit from Ghana was the first. So among the League of Poor, Ghana is touted as the poorest of all the countries. Can you believe what these people have done to our country? Not only have they failed to fight the justice, they have compromised even our integrity and our standing in the eyes of the international community.
Honorable, I'm very much aware that Frontiers Healthcare Services came out with a statement that the number of cases that are recorded at the Kotoka International Airport are becoming alarming. But as to whether they have issued a statement indicating that one single flight, had about 79 infected
Just
people.
as this was information coming from
is this information
sources,
verifiable?
some sources at the airport.
Some sources.
Which we picked up at our press conference.
And what are those sources?
And since then, they have not been contradicted. They have not been contradicted. Sources at the airport indicated that in one particular flight, there were as many as about 79 people.
The only persons who can confirm or deny this,
yes,
is Frontier Healthcare Services.
So Justice,
the company contracted to conduct such tests.
Exactly. So Justice, I'm saying that
did they confirm
if
this,
Justice,
this
figure was made available? If it is not true, let them come out and deny it. Because we are saying this in the supreme interest of the Ghanaian people. If you have information, if you don't lick your lips, the Hamatan will patch them for you. So Justice, if we get information and the information is forthcoming from the public, we will put it in the public domain. Let it come. If they think there's any contrary information that is genuine, let them put it out. But I'm just indicating to you. So Justice, as we speak now, there's no conscious effort to go and purchase. Every government, every state is doing everything possible to find within its own resources to purchase vaccines. Just you remember Ghanaians inoculated, I think about more than, it's getting to 2 months now. It's the first dose that people took. I'm sure it's getting to 2 months or more now. And they are waiting for the second dose. Only God knows when it is coming. Justice. So we are sitting down and waiting for a second batch of donations. A government that will fold his hands and do nothing and wait for donations. What happened to all the money we voted to fight COVID-19? What has the government done with the money? That the government on its own cannot go on the international market and find ways in which you can purchase vaccines to come and help Ghanaians. And worst of all, Justice, we are hearing that they are even attempting to ship into Ghana some expired or nearly expired vaccines from Congo.
How?
Yes, that is what we are hearing. That this cheap attempt at not wanting to go and use money to buy this by relying on donations. We are trying to rely on donations from outside, and even to the extent that there are other nearly expired vaccines or even expired vaccines. That's very serious for the health of this country, and Ghanaians must be on the lookout. We should not allow this to happen. We should
where did you get that information from?
It's in the public domain. Justice. It's in the public domain. This is an information age. And so a lot of this is, yes, I do admit some of the information could be scary, or some of it may not turn out to be true.
But exactly, not all information in the public domain
yes, I agree.
Are true.
I agree. So, but if you are not telling us anything and we hear that something like this is coming, Justice, why don't you make it available for all of us to sit down and see whether what is being said will happen or it not happen? Assuming we say it's not true, and it happens that those shipments come in from either Congo or Mozambique, as they are saying, and they come into, which one is worse? Justice, you deny that it is not coming, and then the expired vaccines come in, and they use it on Ghanaians. What happens to the lives of Ghanaians? Many people will die unnecessarily. Is that not the case? So which of the two is better? Putting the information and ensuring a regime of vigilance that will prevent anything from coming in, or saying that it will happen, then the thing comes in and they use it on Ghanaians. And what happens to the lives of Ghanaians? Don't forget that there can be people who don't care about the well-being of Ghanaians.
But information of this magnitude should be backed by fact, should be backed by some sort of evidence. I don't think that
the evidence that it has come in, or what
it is very difficult for me to understand, or for anybody to understand, that government will intentionally want to procure, expired.
This one is not procuring. That's what I'm saying. Donations. Justice, I just told you that those things that they are waiting for donations. The health minister was asked, when are they procuring vaccines? He could not answer that question, because ask him, how much has government made available for the purchase of vaccines? Justice, have you heard of government negotiating with any pharmaceutical company or others to procure vaccines? Have you heard how much have they made available to purchase vaccines? Have you heard of the Nana Akufo-Addo government saying that it has made available these millions of dollars to purchase vaccines? Have you heard that? Have you heard any? If you have any figure, put it out. Have you heard of any figure? So how are they going to procure the vaccines? That is why I say that they are largely concerned to waiting for donations, because the first 600,000 came from the COVAX. meant for the poorest country, in which they denigrated the image and integrity of Ghanaians and added us to the league of poorest nations in this world. We are waiting for another round of poorest nations donation again. That shame was not enough. We have to organize a ceremony to celebrate that infamy. It's not shame enough. One, we are waiting for a second infamy. I mean, what kind of?
But what's wrong if donations are made to the country in order to
that
help,
you only fold your hands
to help, you know,
justice. You only fold your hands and wait for donations. You won't do anything. Even smaller Burkina Faso, poorer countries, they are making attempts to even purchase some vaccines. Justice, like they said, Ghana is a rich country. Is that not what Nana Akufo-Addo and his people told us? That Ghana is a rich country. So why are we taking donations from meant for the poorest countries on the face of this earth? And after taking, that is the only evidence that we even have that we have vaccines in this country. Accepting donations for the poorest countries. Apart from that, what have you done for yourself? The government said that if they are washing your back, you also wash your front. What have we done for ourselves? After the donation to the poorest countries initiative that we took, what vaccines have we ourselves purchased? Justice, it's getting to 8 weeks now. And the first dose is almost off. After 8 weeks, all those Ghanaians who went for the vaccination, what happens to them? It has consequences. So Ghanaians should be up. They should be up in arms to ask their government what it is doing, because the time is almost up.
But government has indicated that we are still within the period of taking the second jab. So
justice, when does it lapse?
And plans are far.
Do you know that we are entering the 8th
week? That the vaccines are made available.
Justice, those who took the shot, they are in their 8th week. It's expiring. So if it expires, as we speak now, there's no hope of any vaccine coming from anywhere now, as we speak. Ask the Minister for Health, and I'm challenging Pan-Africa. When you finish, go and ask the Minister for Health, when are we getting the vaccines? He can tell you. Because number one, like I said, they themselves, they have not made any effort to purchase any vaccine. They are waiting for donations. Okay, so when is the next batch of vaccines coming for Ghanaians who took the first shot? So having taken the first shot, look at the consequences they will have on their health if they don't get the second shot.
The government has also assured the good people of Ghana that the second shot is going to be taken within the stipulated time. They said plans are far advanced.
Justice, I just told you that.
To procure the medicines or to get the vaccines so that persons who are due for their
Justice, I just told you that some are in their 8th week. When is the thing due again? Have you heard of any shipment of vaccines into the country as we speak? Have you heard? Has any vaccines come from anywhere? Has the government bought a single vaccine into this country? Have they allocated, just even made an allocation? How much have they looked? They should tell Ghanaians, how much have they allocated for the purchase of vaccines? I'm asking this question today. How much has government itself allocated money from government to purchase vaccines? How much? And to which company are they paying it? Which country is that meant to? When are those vaccines coming into the country? As we speak now, those things are completely not available. So you haven't even made arrangements to purchase vaccines. You are talking of even getting the vaccines in the country and doing the distribution for people to be inoculated. Where is it coming? So justice is a very scary development. Let's not take this very lightly. Because the AstraZeneca thing that we meant that you have to take those 2 shots for it to be effective. And so if it's not going to be effective and the bacteria is in the system of the people, what happens? Then we are not going to introduce the virus into Ghanaians, and that becomes a potential killer. That's what I'm saying. It has serious implications for the lives of Ghanaians. So we should not wait and allow that to happen. Ghanaians must ask this government what is it doing and toying with their lives in this manner. And I take serious exception to this. And Justice, I am sure when Parliament convenes next month, we are going to raise questions on the floor of the House and bring the Health Minister to come and answer questions in respect of this matter. They should not be allowed to get away. This is murder.
All right.
Because if Ghanaians take that shot and they are supposed to take the second shot after 8 weeks or so, and that the 8 weeks is expiring, and there's no hope, no sign that any vaccines are around for them to take that shot, we are going to kill many Ghanaians. That is not acceptable.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Honorable, for your submission. Viewers, you are still watching Good Morning Africa Radio on Pan-African Television. We are live on Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook, please share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch, today's edition of the program. If you're watching us on Facebook, try and then share. Please share so that this program will get to as many people as we would want them to also, watch. I'll come to you, Desmond.
Justice, let me also say a very good morning to yourself and to Honorable.
Just let me take this opportunity, sorry.
Okay.
To invite you. There will be a press conference
okay.
by the NDC group.
Okay.
In Parliament on Sunday.
On Sunday.
10
okay.
o'clock.
All right.
On this matter.
No problem. We'll be there.
Okay.
All right.
So, Honorable, let me also say good morning to you and to your viewers out there. Justice, this issue of COVID is a serious matter that not only Ghanaians need to be worried about, but the whole Africa as a continent. Because why am I saying this? If you look at the rate of how COVID is escalating in various countries, including where we are even getting our vaccines from, it is alarming. And with a population of about 1.3 billion people in Africa, if care is not taken, we are going to be in a very big trouble. As we speak, like Honorable said, 8 weeks down the line, people have taken the first vaccine, expecting the second dosage to go on. As we speak, they don't even know when they are going to have that particular vaccine. And I don't think that it is only in Ghana, because per the story that we are talking about, the story clearly states that about 5 African countries who have taken this AstraZeneca vaccine are all looking up to India for support. And Indian themselves are in deep trouble because the virus, the way the virus is treating them, they cannot even come to the aid of any other country. They are also looking for a remedy to be able to solve this issue. And so a country like Morocco, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana, we have all taken the first dosage. Like Honorable said, the free one, the one that is meant for the poor countries. And we have taken advantage of it, and we are waiting for the second dosage. And we don't even know when it's coming. Now, today, in one of the news, I heard that experts are saying that you can take the first vaccine, wait till about 90 days, and take the second vaccine. But I asked myself, were you not these same people who told us that in about a week or two, we are going to get the second dosage of the vaccines? And people went out there thinking that, at the end of 6 weeks, they will be able to get the second dosage. And look at where we are now. Let us also not forget that during the peak period of this COVID, we introduce what we call safety protocols. Justice, ask yourself whether these safety protocols are still in place. I quite remember on some, vehicles, these trotro and, these buses, they reduce the number of passengers that they take. Do you know that they've gone back? Are you aware that they've gone back? A typical example is Kaneshi Cape Coast Ford. They used to take 3 when the COVID was not there.
Must we blame everything on government?
I am not, no. You not allow me to land. I'm not blaming it on the government. I am telling you that the drivers, the passengers, the transportation system have gone back to the olden days where they used to take 4-4 instead of the 3-3. And this one, is it about government?
Who even gave the directive that should do 3-3? Who gave the directive?
The point is,
Honorable, the directive was given
by
fantastic by government.
Yes, And we need to ensure that the laws work.
If you take these buses you are talking about, for instance, we have the station masters, we have the GPRT, the union,
so
who are supposed to insist.
So I'm using your medium. I'm using your medium to let people out there be aware that look, we are still in the COVID era, and so the safety protocols that we used to adhere to, we have to go back to it.
Okay.
So when you go to the trotro station or the bus terminal, and you knew that during the lockdown or even late last year, instead of 4-4, you were seated 3-3, and they asked you to sit 4. Just tell them, now look, we are still in the COVID era, so we can't go by this arrangement. And I think with that, we can all be each other's keeper, rather than blaming everything on the government, like you said. Because look, from where I'm sitting, this virus spreads through contact with people, through our day-to-day activities. And so if we are able to adhere to these safety protocols, when was the last time you went to market and you see market women putting on nose masks? Ask yourself, when was the last time? We have made it look as if this virus is gone. You even go to my deep village and you ask those people there, have they heard about this COVID issue? They said for them, they don't even have any idea about it. You understand? Even though there are more improvised methods of how to be able to, hold this virus in check, I think that we need to go back to the basic safety protocols. Sometimes you go to public institutions and you find out that the Veronica bucket there contains water, but there's no soap and tissue. And so how do you even wash your hand? The thermometer temperature gun that they use, some of them, I ask myself, so every time, every gun is at 36 degrees. I mean, why? So the moment you get to a place, they will just check 36. The next person they check 36. I said, so why?
Just ask them what was the last time they serviced any of those guns.
They don't work. You see, so we should be worried as a continent. We should be worried as a country. I think we are not being told the truth somewhere along the line, because if government is really going to purchase these vaccines, I think he allocated some funds for that. So what happened to that fund? You understand? If you have allocated funds to go purchase these vaccines, and at the end of the day you are relying on free vaccines, then we should be worried. And look, population is increasing, and once the population is increasing, the virus is also increasing because people travel. And like Honorable said, these frontline people who are at the airport, for me, I have a problem with them. You know why?
What problem do you have with
You see, I have a problem with the way we manage some of our institutions, some of our emergency cases in this country. During the peak period of COVID, you went to Noguchi for them to assist you in testing people who have this virus. Now, when you needed somebody to be at the airport, who are the right people you need to contact? Is it not the same Noguchi? Then you bring on board different people. Now, look at the information going on. People are saying that some of the certificates that they issue are fake certificates. Do you think that you go to Noguchi and you get a certificate that is fake?
Is the work being done or not?
If the work is being done, how come most of the cases comes from the airport? At a point, I was thinking that particular disease is like aeroplane-borne disease. When you sit in an aeroplane, you get the virus. Because most people who travel, they sit in the aircraft. That is when you have this virus. So do you want to tell me my grandmother who is at a Shoko, who has not even boarded a plane before, has that virus. So we complain. They said they are doing their work perfectly. Yet most of these cases are coming from the airport. Now look at the restrictions. We keep giving restrictions, yet people just go through. So if we don't change our attitude, if we don't change our mentality, the way we think, the way we approach issues, the way our institutions work, the way we interfere with the institutions that works for this country, and the way we politicize everything in this country, I bet you we will just remain at where we are and will not even move forward. Because look at what is happening. We are now relying on Indian. If we had paid researchers, if we had gone deep down, asked Noguchi, we are giving you such an amount, go down, investigate, make sure you do thorough research, come out with something that will help blacks, that will help Ghanaians. Won't people come all the way from Ethiopia, Morocco, instead of them depending on India, when they come to Ghana or any neighboring African country to, to get a vaccine and go and use for their people? So why can't we as Africans also come together? Make a research, come out with a vaccine that the whites can also come purchase from us. We are always willing to go and buy from them. Meanwhile, most of the things that they use are at our backyard. When people have malaria, typhoid, most people are saying the best treatment is to use our local herbs. Is that not it? Yet somebody will use the local herb, and at the end of the day, the one who will be using the orthodox medicine will not even have it the way you using the traditional medicine has. And so we have everything that what it takes for us to be able to, manage our own affairs, for us to be able to, even export what we have. But we are always at the receiving end. And so can't we get researchers? We have lawyers, we have scientists. Can't we pay them the monies that we are spending on, land cruisers, on, paying extra ministers and chief executives? Can't we allocate such an amount and say, look, we are giving this institution, get this money, make sure you come out with a research, get a drug that can cure this virus. We can do that. We always want to depend on the whites. We always want to depend on them.
Okay.
And when there's an issue, now look at what has happened. Where we are depending on, they have a bigger issue more than us. And I hear even the second dosage of the vaccine, some countries are having problems with it. Even the first one, there were some reactions. And some people I spoke to were saying that, look, the way the first one did to me, I don't think the second one I'm going to take it. You understand? So let us try to create something for ourselves as Africans. Let's come together. We have, there's Nigeria, there's Ghana, there's South Africa, there's Morocco. These are big time developing countries. People, a country like South Africa, people compare South Africa to Europe. And yet, we cannot do anything on our own. It's sad. It's a pity.
It's sad. Okay. Viewers, the WhatsApp stroke text line is 0544235984. 0544235984. Keep your messages coming in, both on WhatsApp and normal text messages. We'll make a time and read all those out for you. Now let's do some other stories, and I'll start with you, Honorable, on the issue of Danso. Minority held a press conference in Parliament, and then they spoke about the fact that the current power cuts we are seeing is as a result of mismanagement of the energy sector. Government has responded, and the minister says no need for load shedding. He labels minority press statement as false. Your take on that?
Yeah. Just let me say that I don't envy my good friend, Honorable Matthew Opoku Prempeh.
Napo.
Yes, he's somebody I credit with a lot of zeal and enthusiasm to discharge whatever office is given him. I will not question his integrity or his competence, but without letting matters slip as they are. Justice, is it true or not that we are under a regime of Danso?
Are we?
Are we not? What name do you call prolonged, persistent light-off?
They say it's not Danso.
It's what? It's Sodom.
Preso.
Is it Sodom?
It's preso.
Or you call it what?
Well, according to government, maintenance work is being carried out by ECG,
Justice.
NEDCO, and GRICO.
Justice.
And that's how come we are seeing some
If
places
maintenance
go.
work is carried on and you have light-off persistently, you can say whatever. You are only providing an excuse for Danso. It's Danso. Danso is there. You may provide a pretext, an excuse why Danso is there, but you cannot say that the Danso is not there. It's there. It's Danso. If they want, they should call it Sodom. It's there. So nobody, and that is the word the MPP dreaded. This government has dreaded. They don't want Ghanaians to mention. Because why? Before President Mahama left office, by July 2016, Justice, there was no Danso in this country again. And Justice, I have said it, if you do the chronology of Danso in this country, going as far back as to the 60s, 70s, and then to the 83 period, coming down to President Kufuor's time in 2007, when they even had to go and get evangelists, there was a shortage of evangelists in this country, so they imported evangelists from abroad to come to Akosombo Dam to go and pray for the dam to be filled. So you see, that's why I give you the differences in how governments envision problems in this country and how they solve it. When under MPP they had the problem, they brought evangelists to come and pray at the dam. When President Mahama and the NDC, starting from President Mills of blessed memory, when the issue came, they sought to tackle it holistically.
How did you solve it?
The first aspect was what? Generation capacity. There was excess demand over supply.
But this government disagrees with
No, they have not. They themselves have agreed. Indeed, on coming to power, Nana Akufo-Addo's government has admitted that there's excess capacity. And they said that the NDC oversigned contracts for generating capacity. So we have excess. So the excess, they have admitted, to be fair to the MPP, they have not denied we have excess capacity.
They have admitted that we have excess capacity.
Yes.
But they have disagreed with the problems as you have enumerated, because what they are saying is that the issue of the energy sector wasn't about generational capacity, but rather it was about funding.
Justice.
Yes.
You don't have head. How do you chew corn? You have to have head before you chew corn. If you don't have the generation capacity, how do you talk about the distribution? First, you have to have after generation transmission and the distribution. If you don't have the capacity to generate, what are you going to transmit? What will you transmit? So how do you want to talk about transmission before generation? You are putting the cart before the horse. So at that time, the critical problem that faced this country was generation. Was a generational problem. How to generate sufficient this to meet our demand at peak hours. Over 1,000 and something this were wallowing around 400, 500 megawatts. Okay, so you needed that capacity. That is why we brought in Ameri. Okay, Ameri and all the other T3, plenty. Brekete, I can't mention all of them. Okay, so that by the end of President Mahama's season, we were generating far more and even boosting our exports to neighboring countries. So I was surprised that people's the MPP government's counter argument was that we had so much generation capacity that we didn't need them. Justice, you will need them even when you generate to export to our neighboring countries. As far as Liberia and others, they need power even from Ghana. Cote d'Ivoire needs more power from Ghana. Burkina Faso needs more power from Ghana. Togo needs more power from Ghana.
Okay.
So that is even going to give us an additional export item. So I was shocked when they started talking about we have excess capacity and we have to let it go. I seriously differ from that. It's a potential source of revenue earner for this country, that we can become a net power exporter. Okay, Justice. What was the response? The people said that the NDC had padded some of the contracts. For instance, America, which was $530 million. Okay, they said when they come to power, they will investigate and prosecute those who went and brought America. I'm sure you remember. And President Nana Akufo-Addo, when he came to office, launched that decision, set up a committee, and the energy minister Bwacha Ajako, they led a delegation to Turkey to go and find out. When they came back, they found nothing. And on the contrary, President Akufo-Addo himself, under his watch, under his direction and supervision, he did the American innovation deal. Justice, a deal you said which was 530, if you complain that 530 was too much, and that the country was being shortchanged, was fleeced, 530 million, Justice. You move 530 to 1.3 billion. Listen to the figure. 530 was too much. Under Nana Akufo-Addo's own watch, he gave executive approval. Nana Akufo-Addo himself, he gave executive approval to the American innovation deal and hiked it from 530 million to 1.3 billion and brought it to Parliament. Justice, but for the vigilance of the minority in Parliament of the seventh Parliament of the Fourth Republic, which we all rose up in arms, not only exposed it, but got civil society and others to join us. Justice. And we brought this issue to the public domain. That forced the government to take it back. The NPP government, principally through the work of Nana Akufo-Addo himself, would have fleeced this country of over $800 million. $800 million. Far in excess, almost getting to twice what they accuse the NDC of pardon. Okay? So, Justice, go back and do an introspection. Justice, part of the problem we have today is because of the lack of financial capacity to pay for the energy that is generated. Go and Justice, I'm challenging the Pan-Africa TV. Take your cameras and others, and I'm happy that my brother, the late Kwame, but not the late, Kwame, has come in.
I was actually ambushed.
Kwame, you should go to.
I'm not meant to be on the show today.
Yes.
I was actually just.
Yeah.
I was ambushed.
It's true.
Okay, Kwame. So go and talk to the IPPs. Kwame, you will have resolved this matter in the public domain and ask the IPPs how much is government indebted to them for power production.
That's a lot. I think over $500 million.
They are in billions now. Okay, the IPPs.
But government says it has offset some of the debt and
You have
negotiated with the IPPs.
You have offset some of the debt. How much of the debt? It's not enough to say you have offset some of the debt. How much of the debt have you offset? And how much more have you accumulated? Because as you claim you are offsetting, you are accumulating. Yeah. So how much have you offset? You have arrears of what you say you have, a huge arrears. In fact, what you say you have paid is less than even what is remaining. Okay? The arrears are even more than what you say you have paid. And then you are accumulating more. That's why I said I didn't envy my brother Napo. He's being taken to the ministry there to go and do this job. In the 4 years, it has been a mess. Justice, when the NDC was in power, VRA, NEDCO, GRIDCO, ECG, they were all making profits. 2013, 2014, go and look at their balance sheet. And Pan-Africa, take it up. The balance sheets of NEDCO, VRA, GRIDCO, ECG. Go and look at their balance sheets over the period 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. Up to 2016, they were profits, including GRIDCO. From 2017, go and look at their balance sheet. Whoom! Wait. I'm telling you, when a house has fallen, you don't ask whether the roof is still standing. Justice. Huge losses. They started contracting debt. ECG, huge debt. VRA, huge debt. All of them. Was that a mere coincidence? And so a lot of them impacted on their ability to perform. Okay? And today, even fueling some of those power plants is part of the problem. So a lot of it has to do with financial muscle. I'm sure today, just as you know, everything has gone out to the... Nothing is working now. Money is not in the system. Nothing is going. Everything, bam, after we pass the budget. So, Justice, it is clear that this issue of...
Oh, can you step down for me?
Yes, this do so. We are in full-scale do so. I had attempts being made to rationalize that, even sometimes some very laughable excuses that even a tree has fallen on some
exchange.
And we are talking about repair works on Pokwase exchange, and so it should affect the eastern.
They said the Pokwase bulk power station, and then that of I think Kasua.
So it should affect the eastern part of Accra. So what about the light of in Tamale and Boko, in Kumasi, in Swami Magazine? In Sunyani,
all right,
in Techima, in Kintampo, in Sanargo, my place Sanargo. Justice, with this fasting and the heat, it's incredible. People cannot sleep. Businesses, those who small scale businesses, those who do fabrication, who do this and use light, they are forced to shut down in this difficult COVID environment. So it has had a devastating toll on businesses. So if businesses don't even operate, how do they even pay taxes that you are seeking to hike? They have hiked the taxes on these people. So, Justice, there cannot be you see, you may attempt to sweep dust under the carpet, but attempt to sweep a boulder under the carpet will even tear. You can't sweep a boulder under a carpet. So no matter how hard they are struggling to prevent Ghanaians from saying that this is do so, it's full scale do so.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Honorable, for your submission. Viewers, you're still watching Good Morning Africa, right here on Pan-African Television. Keep your messages coming in on our WhatsApp/text line on 0554. 0544. On 0544-235984. I've been joined in the studio by my boss, Kwame, Owusu Danso. I have ambushed him to be part of, to be part of today's discussion.
Good morning. Good morning to Honorable Lady Hussein. Good morning to Mr. Desmond here. Desmond too. I'm excited to always get the opportunity to sit here because then I'll be able to speak my mind and share my little thoughts with the Ghanaian people. Well, I'm not surprised we're hearing this, and I'm not surprised that we're seeing all that we're seeing. It's quite clear that this government and its activities are one that we can describe as a scam.
A scam.
Complete scam. Complete scam. You know, I think prior to the 2016 elections, so in fact, no, not 2016 elections, when Nana Danko Akufo-Addo won the 2016 elections, he made a profound statement, which profound statement sat well with some of us. In fact, we're very excited that he had made that profound statement. His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo indicated to the Ghanaian people that he was going to transform the fortunes of the people of Ghana within 18 months. 18 months. Well, there's been some transformation, but it appears that that transformation has rather been, it's rather one that has been detrimental to the growth of this nation. The 18 months of change that he referred to is what we're experiencing now, the Doomso. The 18 months of change that he spoke about is the amount or the quantum of money which have been borrowed by this administration for God knows what. That's the 18 months of transformation that he's talking about. Indeed, His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has made several statements Several statements, several. Many of them, in fact, has got to do with even the 88 district hospitals that he said he was going to put up. So I'm not surprised at all that we're here. We're here because in the estimation of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo prior to the 2016 elections, we were in Danso because of the mismanagement of former President John Dramani Mahama. We're in Danso because we didn't have money to be able to run the supply of power for the good people of Ghana. We didn't have money. I mean, that was the crux of the arguments being espoused by the MPP prior to the 2016 election. And Dr. Bawumia was the primus inter pares in that conversation. In fact, he was the pillar around which every propaganda revolved. So I would have thought that maybe they had a magic wand to be able to deal with that, you know, which they found at the time to be wrong. Now, what are we experiencing? We're experiencing Danso. And you see, the Danso that we're experiencing is not as a result of lack of capacity or supply. We have it in excess. So the question then becomes, if we have excess capacity, indeed, if you check the Ministry of Finance's website, an indication has been made by the finance minister that we have power in excess supply, okay, which have even now been exported to other countries. So if we have it in excess supply and we are able to export same to other countries, then on what basis are we not benefiting from the excess supply of power that we're supposed to have? Jay, are you not surprised
Very.
that you have food in abundance and yet you're hungry in your home? Doesn't make sense. In an abundance of water, it's thirsty.
You are living by the banks of a river.
Yes.
And washing your hands with mosquitoes.
It's unbelievable.
Boss, that statement again. In abundance of water.
I'm not a Christian. I don't. You're a proper Rasta man. Wow. You know, so I think that it's about time we chased those bald heads out of town, because those bald heads are not doing any good for this nation. Now, let's get serious with the facts.
But government has denied any.
But of course, what this administration is better at doing is to do proper PR. MPP don't try. With PR, they're very good at it. You recall that I think for the past 3 days now, I have been highlighting a number of the things that I've been, and I'm trying to pull parity with all the other things which were raised, because I think it's all incidental to this conversation. The issue about ensuring that every village in this country will have full supply of water and power is one that has to be brought to the fore, because that was an admonition, or no, not admonition, that was a statement of truism at the time that was made by Dr. Bawumia. So we need to bring all those issues to the fore. Indeed, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo also indicated to the good people of Ghana, yes, that we were not going to experience any. And this one, people can go on my Facebook page and just go and check. It's something which is in the public domain. I don't need to. Where is it? I posted it yesterday. So this one, Dr. Bawumia indicated that no village will have water, toilet problems in our first 2 years. No village will have water and toilet problems in our first. Even cities. That's what he said. No village will have water. And I presume that this was on the back of the one village, one dam project.
Yeah.
But there's been water shortage even in Tema. Boom. And its environs.
Which place is there no water?
So that statement for me, where is the other one? In 2014, what month is 7th? May, right? July.
Yeah.
So on that beautiful date, 7/7/2014.
Wow.
At exactly 1:26 p.m.
So 7 July 2014.
His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on that day.
That time he was not president.
Yes, no. Now he's president, so I'm addressing him by that.
But you have to.
Okay. The then candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo indicated that under John Dramani Mahama's administration, we had no water, we had no electricity, we had no petrol, we had no money, we had no jobs, we had no mercy, and above all, there was no World Cup victory.
Welcome to us.
Said there was no World Cup victory. This was in 2014. This was when he was trying to seek the mandate of the Ghanaian people to be the president of the Republic of Ghana. Fast forward, what has he done? Do we have water? Do we have electricity? Do we have power? Do we have petrol? Do we have jobs? Have we won any World Cup? In fact, have we won any spoon cup?
We are talking of World Cup. Even
No, I'm asking.
we didn't even qualify for African Cup of Nations the other time.
No, we've won the
And-
African Youth World Cup.
Which one?
The one that-
Oh, after the Youth World Cup, we won
Under 20.
Saka and Co. We won this year.
You see, we live in a very interesting country. I mean, these issues, I'm sure we have. I mean, Honorable Lady Husseini is one who has a depth of knowledge when it comes to appreciating the issues relative to the electricity crisis, and I'm sure has demonstrated that unequivocally on this platform.
Very.
I don't want to dwell on that because I'm sure succinctly he's delivered.
Yeah.
I just want to look at the issue regarding the hypocrisy of the Ghanaian people. How come that we are faced with the very challenges which were used as a vehicle for the NPP to come to power? Why are we silent on that same issue which have come up? Why?
Kwame, I'm sure you've listened to Honorable Sam Jonah.
I listened to
The
some
culture of silence.
culture of
Then
silence. In
this
fact, even he himself is complicit. Because why? 4 years ago was the country better?
Not at all.
It wasn't better. Why is he talking now?
That's why-
Because he is directly affected.
Better late than never.
No, but he's directly affected.
Fine, you can say that.
He's a bourgeoisie. He's in a class. You see, when there's a class system created within a class, those who are not benefiting from that class system created within the class will find their voices.
Rise up. Yeah.
So what happens to the masses, those who have never been represented by anybody
Voices.
and who have never benefited from the system in any way, shape, or form? What should they do? And we are unfortunately, Honorable David, we are the ones who have been dead silent on everything that is happening in this nation. Why? Because we are following blindly the ideology, which ideology we don't even understand. So people are following the NPP not because they believe in the NPP's ideology, but because they believe in a certain member of parliament who will find some 10 Ghana, 50 Ghana, 20 Ghana cities for them for their survival.
Including the media.
Including the media. We are all complicit. You see, so when this happens, the politician deliberately creates a system which will always let you be at their beck and call. You will forever remain poor. So that when it's election time and they come, they'll find you no kofio, and then you go and vote for them. So they will continue to impoverish the good people of this nation. They will continue to widen the poverty gap because they always want to use that as a springboard to launch their political careers. And that is the problem, because we have fallen prey to that, and we must begin to look at that. How come that Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's administration is facing these challenges, yet somehow the very people who raised these issues prior to the 2016 elections have all lost their voices? Their silence is very loud. It's very, very loud. And I was very scandalized when I read on Twitter again. I was just surfing the internet. And then I chanced on a tweet by Professor Stephen Adai, who was very loud prior to the 2016 elections, chastising the Mahama administration, bastardizing the Mahama administration, indeed calling the sitting president at the time a liar, together with his minister. Says the president and the ministers are liars. Oh, so Nana Akufo-Addo is truthful? If Nana Akufo-Addo was truthful, so he was truthful to the fact that he was going to change the fortunes of the good people of Ghana within 18 months, and that they had solved them. So you recall that they indicated to Ghanaians that they had solved them. So they had solved, but as time went on, the reality dawned on them. They had no explanation to give to the good people of Ghana because they had not added even 1 megawatt of power. to the generational capacity of Ghanaian of this nation, and therefore they were left with no other option but to admit in shame that it was the NDC that addressed or solved the issue of Danso. And nobody can challenge me on this, because Dr. Bawumia himself stated that if the NDC, if Ghanaians are saying that the NDC solved Danso, then it's no news, because the NDC created Danso. So if NDC had created Danso, and they don't need to praise them because they created it, they have solved it. So there was an admission that the NDC had indeed solved Danso. There were several other deals which were renegotiated. I think Honorable Lady was saying, he made mention of Ameri deal and all of that. I don't want to go into that. My argument is that we don't need anybody's, we must not seek anybody's approval to bring to the fore issues which directly or indirectly affect the survival of the average Ghanaian.
Very well.
We must not seek support from anybody.
Okay.
2, we must not sit on the fence and pretend as though nothing is happening in this nation. The only reason why many people in this nation sit on the fence is primarily as a result of the fact that they will be described as belonging to the NDC. So they won't even come out to speak on matters which matters borders on their own, their very survival. They won't come out to speak to those issues because they are scared to be tagged as NDC. But then it begs the question, Justice, whether or not any voice of dissent in opposition to that which is detrimental to the survival of the growth of this nation is a voice of the NDC. So we don't have conscience of our own to be able to raise matters which affect the material conditions of the people of this nation, and we don't have voices to raise those issues. Why is it that when we raise those issues, we are described as belonging to the NDC? And I'm sure that you will receive messages, which messages will indicate that, oh, Kwame Owusu Danso is speaking for the NDC. We must not continue to play politics in that light, because we have one Ghana. And if we are not concerned about the things which happens in this country, we'll get to a point where we will no longer have any Ghana to tend to. And that, for me, is very crucial, particularly the younger people of this nation. And I've always been admonishing the young people to be concerned about being a national